Hey guys, I wanted to make a video a little bit different. Now that I've managed to start working on my first Legion champion, which is my Demon Slayer, I've come across some new knowledge and some more understanding of what the roadblocks and potential solutions might be for making these Legion champions up to Vihela, Black Mage, Harsh Saren, or maybe even normal Limbo. So the first thing I'd like to address is the fact that the bosses have a separate mode called Champion Mode. Champion Mode apparently is a little bit easier to survive in, but harder to clear. Now what do I mean by that? Apparently, Champion Mode, which you can clear in practice by the way, is only 20 minutes long for all the 30-minute bosses, aka Saren, Kalos, Hard Vihela, all of those are going to be 20 minutes. And Black Mage will be 45 minutes. So you can't actually fully min clear these bosses. The other change they made is that now the bosses attack you and do 25% less damage. So you are tankier. Now, taking both of these things into account, there's one thing that's very glaring when it comes to choosing your characters. And that is the fact that 3-minute classes are not as good as 2-minute classes now. Mostly for the fact that in a 20-minute boss, you lose your final burst, as you would have needed a little bit over 20 minutes with Mercedes Legion, or 21 minutes to get your final burst in. So that's one thing I wanted to consider, given the fact that some of my champions that I currently wanted to choose are Mihal and Nightwalker, both of which are 3 minutes. But I think I will decide to stick with them. Because my plan is to get to normal Kalos, because of the fact that Nightwalker is really strong, and because of the fact that my Mihal is mostly going to run continuous anyways, I don't have that much of an issue with that fact, even if I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage. I quite like the classes I chose, and I think I'm going to stick with them. Now, when it comes to actually working on my Legion champions, I've decided on getting all of them to level 280. While making my Demon Slayer, I still am making it by the way. Last video you saw it was 261, now it's 277. A couple of things have happened. First thing is, I realized how comparably easy it is compared to what I remembered or what I thought to get from level 260 to 275. 260 to 270 especially is insanely quick nowadays. Like, if you want to only do dailies and farm 30 minutes a day, that'll get you to 270 rather quickly. Currently I'm giving my Lin 10 boosters every day with 3x and just dump it all on her as soon as I can, aka I'm not waiting for room or anything. And it gives her 12% a day at level 268. And if you want to brute force it, then you can get a lot of EXP a day, anywhere between 50% and more, up to level 270. So level 275 is definitely realistic for a lot of people that are willing to put in the time and grind and have already planned on making 6 hard circles. But even if you didn't, you might want to consider getting to level 270 to be able to do the Black Mage challenge. Now, for me, as I said, I'm probably planning on getting all of them to 280. I don't know exactly whether it'll be everything to 275 at first and then 280. Because the one main problem I've encountered on my Demon Slayer is, even though it's level 277, it's completely below Sacred for farming where it needs to farm and for doing the bosses it needs to do. I managed to get a hard Saren clear on my Demon Slayer in 18 minutes, like a solo, but it is 230 Sacred and the clear was at 220. So I'm still missing damage in P2. I'm sorry about the silence, by the way. So I am missing damage in P2 via Sacred or End levels. Now, it does mean that it would be a little bit more difficult than I thought to get to the damage requirement for Hard Siren and normal Kalos. Sorry. But I do think it's very doable, especially with 3rd and 4th Masteries coming up. And with the fact that Legion Champions are going to compound the buffs that we're going to be able to get the more you make them. Between that and the fact that currently we're only going to be having 2 unlocked, with a 3rd one being able to unlock via clearing Hard Vihela, so 3 total to start, and we don't know how often they're going to unlock the rest of them. So for now, trying to reach for a little bit of a higher level to make sure you get the final damage for Saren and for normal Kalos to be able to be on the same level as him, I think is a lot more important than making 6 to 75s. So that's the game plan on a more macro level. Now specifically for the micro level, as I've said in my previous, like the initial video, I am going a lot more hyper-focused, which means that every cubing sale or even off event, every starring event, I'm not gonna work on all my mules at once. Instead, I'm just gonna try to brute force my way to as many 22s as possible. I've tried doing this off event on some of my next few mules, but it failed. Mostly because my Demon Slayer is done with 22s outside of like a pat mark, which I have nothing to do about. But yeah, that would mean that I'm not going to be able to save that much money because I am doing some things that aren't as efficient. A lot of people would have an issue with that if they were going for making as much meso as possible, because this is not the efficient way to go about it. But I have finished basically going the efficient route, and now I'm just going on a route that's more fun for me when it comes to how I want to get my Legion champions up ASAP and get as many characters that I actually like playing to a high enough level where they can do at least Hard Siren, but probably normal Kalos. And I might add more to the list even after the 6 have finished, but the game is a long way away from that. My account is a long way away from that, even though I'm aspiring to really look for things. It may not happen. It may happen earlier than I think it is. My Demon Slayer definitely was, but thank God for being able to teleport farm, because that definitely helps my entire account with some additional meso, and on my Demon Slayer with fragments. It does make it easier than most other classes. That said, it wouldn't be that different between my Demon Slayer and the rest of my characters, considering the fact that the first thing I did was get Soul Janus to level 20 on it. That's because I knew Demon Slayer specifically will go higher than level 280, so it was worth it. But I will get all of my mules at least level 10 Janus, which means I can probably just stand in place and farm. Just like, I mean, almost as easy as TP farming. That's why I think 280 is very, very doable. Somewhere inside that whole mess of leveling up like crazy a bunch of mules, I also want to get my main, aka my Dawn Warrior, to 290. Now I do think Dawn Warrior is in a really rough spot right now. Its 6th job didn't do it any favors, and the new skills and the masteries, everything coming out doesn't really look great. It doesn't actually improve its situation in any way. I really liked it before 6th job came out. I liked it before the mastery. I liked it when it was a support with True Sight. I just don't find too many reasons to like it nowadays, but it is just about level 288, which is a far cry from 290, but I still have a couple of friends I run bosses with, and it's still pretty fun. So until and if I will ever get up to a point where one of my mules is as strong as my main, I will try to push my main a little bit higher to make hard limbo possible when the new masters come out. And the other goal that is unrelated, well, very related, but also unrelated to Legion Champions, it goes hand in hand with it, is 10k Legion. Now, my account is only 2 years old, but I did... Well, technically that's a lie. It's a lot older than that, but I've only started playing it 2 years ago, right? That's when I was able to hit my level 250. If I can find my achievements, there they are. That's when I hit my first level 250, right? A little bit over 2 years ago, like a week over. So that's when I started to play the game more seriously, during Ignition. Before that I was on different games, for the most part. And even though it's like reasonably new, I've always liked working on my Legion levels. Most of the way I distributed my resources was to get my Legion to the highest level as possible. So I think I'm reasonably close to being able to get to that goal by the next, by the end of the next big event, during the summer event. Between the Legion Champions gaining 15 levels each, right, for an extra 60, 2 more Hyperburns for an extra probably 50 each, almost 50, that already puts me like 9,900, a little bit more. And then it's just about getting a few more 250s for Legion, for just the Legion blocks and Legion effects, and I'll get there. So that's another one of my major goals. It's a lot of leveling up, a lot of time consuming. I don't know if I actually will have the time for it, because despite everything I'm saying, I do actually have a job. But it's a goal, and goals are good to have, right? I mean, worst case scenario, I'll hit my goals. This is the way I like to look at it. But I have something to aspire to, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah, next video will be a video showing off my Demon Slayer's gear, familiars. Don't worry, nothing crazy. And maybe a little bit of bossing. Right? If I'll show you C10E, it'll be a good comparison to where all my other builds started, because I've been uploading all my mules doing Chaos Tenebris, and you can see their pacing. So that way you can compare how far my Demon Slayer go in about 3 weeks of working on fragments, 3.5 weeks of working on fragments, familiars, a little bit of gear, compare the CP, and all that. Yeah, one more thing is I might also upload more progression-focused videos, specifically on my Demon Slayer now, mostly because that is, at the end of the day, my current like hyper-focus. There's nothing else I'm working on more. I've been putting a lot of hours in. I want to, like, I've already soloed Easy Kalos. I'm working on my Eternals. Since I only started 3 weeks ago, I only have 2 or 3 pieces, I don't remember right now. But I am planning on getting to a point where I can 5% or 10% in see Kalos. And we'll maybe have either friends take me or just contribute enough to be in a party myself, just to get those chances of bosses as early as possible. I'm also duoing Heartseer with Emblem Prio. I can solo it, as I've said before, but it is a pain, so a friend is helping me out, and I'm just getting Emblem. And I'm also doing something similar on my Lin, even though it's only 268. The Sacred is high enough to be able to 5% in Heartseer. They just want it clear in the white boxes, and I give them a lot of support with Lin, plus I get an Emblem Prio. So that's like the main ways of my account progressing towards the Elite Champions. Obviously that's not too much as I'm focusing on the Demon Slayer, but yeah, we'll see where that gets us. Now if I'm uploading this immediately after recording, it is Sunny Sunday for EXP. So go do what you need to do, and I'll see you in the next one.